Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Turning Grief into Growth. I'm Jennifer Santiago. So today I want to share something that was an absolute lifeline for me when I was going through the immediate aftermath of my loss and like in the thick of the absolute worst grief that somebody could feel. And that is books, because reading other people's stories about their own personal grief journeys, as harrowing as some of them have been and are, it made me feel so much less alone in my own grief. And I don't know, maybe this is not the nicest thing to say, but everyone's grief or everyone's loss is, of course, the worst thing in the world, right? But there's actual worse loss, believe it or not, sometimes than your own. And reading about it, at least for me, really kind of offered me a lot of solace that somebody years later, after surviving such terrible trauma and loss, can recount the story and then even tell you about how they've recovered and moved on. And when I say moved on, like not really moved on, but like able to continue to live, even find love again, that meant a lot to me in the moment, because when I lost Felipe, I was completely alone. I mean, I was living overseas. My family and my friends, they were nowhere near me. I was living in Belize. They were in the United States, and everyone had their own lives. They couldn't devote their time to me full time. And I was still trying to get on with my life and trying to work, but dealing every single day and night with the aftermath of trauma. So reading really provided the lifeline that I was looking for. So I'm going to recommend to you 3 books that helped me get through my loss. I'm talking about in the immediate aftermath, like within 3 weeks to 3 months of losing Felipe, I would go to bed at night. I would struggle to go to sleep, but I took one of these books with me to help. And I've got to give you a warning. They are all extremely, well, 2 out of the 3 are extremely painful. But for some reason, this really worked for me. I needed to read about other people's pain in order for me to endure mine. I don't know if that makes sense, but it worked for me. So I'm sharing it with you. So number 1, and this one is a doozy, Wave. Wave by Sonali Derangalia is one of the most raw and hauntingly beautiful memoirs I've ever read. Sonali writes about losing her husband, parents, and 2 young sons in the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. Her grief is unfiltered, and reading it was like sitting with someone who didn't try to sugarcoat the pain. This book taught me that it's okay to acknowledge the messiness of grief, that healing doesn't have to look neat or linear. It's hard to read at times, but it also reminded me of the resilience we carry, even in unimaginable loss. All right, I'm going to go from bad to potentially worse, because the second book that helped me in the immediate aftermath of Felipe's death was a book that I had read so many years prior as a child, but it meant something very different to me. And it is Night by the Nobel Prize winner, Elie Wiesel. Night is a powerful memoir about Wiesel's experiences surviving the Holocaust. While this might seem like a really heavy choice, reading about his resilience in the face of unimaginable suffering did give me some perspective. Grief can feel isolating, but this book reminded me of the strength of the human spirit. His ability to bear witness to such profound loss inspired me to keep going, even on my hardest days, and offered me some company on the hardest nights. And nights were always the worst. The third book, it's a lot lighter in the sense that it's written from a voice that is so much different than the other 2, but the loss isn't. And the third book is a memoir. It's Nora McInerney's It's Okay to Laugh. Crying is cool too. I loved this book. It's Okay to Laugh is like having a brutally honest, darkly funny friend who just gets it. Nora lost her husband, father, and a pregnancy in a short span of time, and this book captures her journey with humor and heart. So thank you again for joining me on this journey of turning grief into growth. I hope that either these books are books that you too have read in your grief journey, or plan to give to someone else who's maybe suffering, and you are struggling to find a way to relate to them. And sometimes reading about other people's personal journeys can help. So pick up one of these books and like and subscribe my channel. Comment on a book that may have helped you in your grief journey. There are so many more that I read that I still read, I should say, but so many more that I've read in the aftermath of Phil's death. And I just didn't have enough time to review all of them today, but I will definitely do another video on the books that have helped me. And let me know what books have helped you. And I'll see you next time.